Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another reading vlog. There is nothing special about this. I'll probably just title it like a reading vlog at home or something. So with nothing to say, let me tell y'all about the book I'm currently in the middle of. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I think I just rolled my eyes. And if I did, it's because I'm honestly over this, I'm not gonna lie. I am about 170-ish pages into this, I think. Okay, yeah, I'm on page 175 and I still have so much more to go. And I'm not gonna lie, I would have probably DNF'd this by now, but it is my book club pick for my book club at work, so I really need to see it through. And I am crossing my fingers that it is going to get better. Okay, looking at the genres on Goodreads, it's very telling. It says fantasy, horror, vampires, fiction, LGBT, historical fiction, all of those fun things. I definitely didn't know that it had some horror elements until I was reading it, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I'm scared. But it is a fantasy book following 3 girls in 3 different timelines, and they are all toxic lesbian vampires, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm in the middle of this, but to be honest, I would rather be reading something else. So I am going to pick up Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. The only thing I know about this is it is a young adult mystery series. I have the first 3 books and I think they're just gonna be really quick and fun. And those 2 words are the opposite of this. I'm sorry if you love it. Maybe I will too and I'll stop shitting on it. But for now, I do think I'm gonna give Truly Devious a shot. And I have both of these on my Kindle, so I'll probably be reading them there. Yeah, that is all for now. Let's get reading. Despite wanting to start with a different book, I am continuing to read Bury Our Bones, and I just do not care about any character right now. And one of the 3 point of views is all about this girl's sister, and I'm like, I don't even care about her. What makes you think I'm gonna care about her sister? And we're just always bringing her up, so. Okay, before I set up the hammock, let me give y'all a garden update. The carrots have really grown a lot, so pleased with that, as well as the cucumbers. And then, as y'all can obviously tell, the tomatoes have gone wild. We definitely need to get higher like cages for them because they're just falling right over. You can't even see the lavender we have in here. But y'all see those purple tomatoes? Honestly, we can probably harvest those already. I'm so excited. I think 2 of these are purple and 2 of them are red tomatoes. It has surprisingly been raining like crazy here, which is why it's so muddy everywhere. Hi, Hank. But yeah, that's the garden update, and we officially have sunflowers in the front. Maybe I'll show that next. I'm currently 242 pages into Bury Our Bones. Let's see how much I can read tonight. It is currently around 5:30. right, we just finished at Second and Charles. I didn't get any books, but I did get 3 CDs, 2 Maroon 5 and 1 Mumford & Sons. They're back there. And now my husband is in Lowe's as I'm reading in the car. And as much as I don't love our story, I will say I can't say anything bad about her writing because it is insane. These are some of the most beautiful lines I have ever read. There's one in particular that's really stuck with me that I want to find for y'all. Okay, it was actually when I was reading on my Kindle, and to not be spoilery, I'm going to say this without context, so you're not gonna get like the full depth of how good this is, but it says, she recoils back in her body in the coffee shop booth, Lottie lingering like a camera flash behind her eyes, repeating every time she blinks. And you know when you get a photo taken of you in flash and like you're like closing your eyes and you're seeing all those spots? Like, that is so niche. I am obsessed. And literally on the page I'm reading right now, I have underlined so much because it's just so good. This one is like a compliment from her mother, and it says, "You are the kind of bloom that thrives in any soil." That is so cute. And then later on, she's talking about how this woman reminds her of a tulip, and at first I was like, that is so cute. So, hypothetically, if somebody parks next to me, should I freak out or no? I'm just gonna keep talking, but she reminds her of a tulip, which I thought was a compliment, but no. She said, tall and thin with a large head. That is ruthless. And I guess these are just backhanded compliments, because for the next girl, she said, Margaret is softer, rounder, a blushing rose. They move with a fragile kind of grace, and each performs a perfect curtsy, like a flower wilting in the heat before drawing themselves up again. That is so perfect. I'm obsessed with this writing. Anyways, I'm going to keep reading. I'm really trying to knock this out, y'all, but it's taking me so long. Alright, a quick Bury Our Bones update because a lot has changed since I last talked to y'all. I am currently 95% through, which is less than an hour left. And I say a lot has changed because I think every update I've given y'all is me hating the book. And once I hit like the 60% mark, I actually became like obsessed with it, and I'm very, very excited to see how it's going to end. I'm planning on finishing it right now, but just wanted to let y'all know that things have done a 180. Oh yeah!
This is the series chair.
We are past due for an update because I have finished the first book of this video and started 2 others. So let me give y'all my spoiler-free thoughts on Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. As y'all saw in previous clips, I was not enjoying this. I would even go as far to say I would have DNF'd this if it wasn't my book club pick. And to be honest, I didn't think it would happen, but I'm so glad I continued on and did not DNF this. I actually really enjoyed the last half of this book, and I'm giving it a 3.5 stars just because Okay, my cats are fighting. I'm sorry, but what was I saying? Setup of this book, like the world building and meeting characters and stuff, went into almost page 300, like definitely 250. So I would just say it was too drawn out and I didn't love the story in the beginning. Some of it at the time did feel like annoying and redundant and just not relevant. But honestly, it was like I really got to learn about some of these characters. Like I felt like I really knew them before we got into like the main plot. I definitely had my ups and downs with this book, but I really, really liked it and it's been on my mind. And I honestly could see myself rereading it. Okay, next up is a book I started on audio during my latest road trip. And I picked it up because it's something that's been on my TBR for a while. I want to get it off. I think it's summery. I don't know, rom-com just kind of gives like summer vibes to me. So I picked up Catherine Sinter's The Rom-Commers. Okay, according to Hoopla, I am about 15% through this. And that is just under 2 hours. So I have around 10 hours to go. And to be honest, it'll be a miracle if I get through that. Okay, and let's talk about my relationship with Catherine Sinter, because maybe she is just not the author for me. I really enjoyed The Bodyguard by her. I've actually loaned that book out to my grandma because I think she might enjoy it. And then the only other 2 books I read by her are Hello Stranger and Things You Save in a Fire. This was not good. I don't know what I rated it. I probably was too generous, but I would not recommend this. And then I actually did enjoy this, which I think this is some of her older work. It was way less romance and more women's fiction. And yeah, knowing that, I definitely would say this is obviously more rom-com-y than women's fiction. And our female main character is getting on my nerves. Which, let me just say, that is so sad because I actually got this beautiful special edition signed from her when I was visiting the Austin area, because this author is actually from Texas and she writes a lot about Texas. Even reading the summary on this flap is painful. I can't. I really do think I'm gonna end up DNFing this, but I will tell y'all what it is about. We have our FMC, Emma, and she really wants to be a screenwriter, although I don't think she's had any success yet. But to make a long story short, she has the opportunity to work with, like, I would say not only her favorite screenwriter of all time, but her favorite person of all time. The way she freaks out about this man, Charlie Yates, like, she is acting like this man was God sent down on this earth. She is so obsessed and down bad for him. I honestly hate to see it. Like, why couldn't the roles be reversed? I hate to see her obsessed with this man who is treating her not so awesome in the beginning. And it's kind of because he is this big shot and he doesn't recognize that he needs help on this screenplay. So he's kind of just directing that anger towards Emma, but I don't know. I really do not care about them at all. But it says Emma's not going down without a fight. She will stand up for herself and for rom-coms and for love itself. She will convince Charlie that love stories matter, even if she has to kiss him senseless to do it. But what if that kiss is accidentally amazing? What if real life turns out to be so much more real than fiction? No, I think I'm done. Done reading that for you. I'm going to listen to the audiobook a little bit more, but I'm telling y'all it's not looking good for this. Then for the book I started physically reading on the way home when I wasn't driving, that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I think I might have introduced this in the beginning. 88 pages in, and I'm honestly really liking this. I am very curious to see how this is such a long series, because I think this like has 5 books. Don't quote me on this, but I think it was originally a trilogy and then maybe they went beyond it. I'm not sure, but let me tell you what this is about. It is a YA mystery. I don't think this is a dark academia book, but it is set at an academy and it is a famous private school in Vermont founded by an early 20th century tycoon for the best and brightest students around. So in the 88 pages I've read so far, we have two timelines. One is, I think, 1936, where we see that founder and his family and the crime that went on there. But we're just getting little sprinkles so far. We haven't heard the whole story. And then the other timeline is following Stevie Bell, and it is her first year at this school. And her thing that got her into the school, like her specialty, is that she's obsessed with crime. I think that's what we have so far. And she is set to solve the cold case that happened with the founder's family, the Ellinghams. But it also says here on the back, the past has crawled out of its grave and someone has gotten away with murder. So that makes me think another murder is going to take place in the present timeline. I don't know, but I am really enjoying this. So enough talking, I'm going to get back to reading this and I will let y'all know what I think later on. Hello?
All I'm getting is meat and beer, right? That feels weird.
Hello. I feel like we just talked and I also feel like this vlog is boring, so I'm so sorry if it is, but I need to give y'all my final update on Truly Devious before I finish it tonight. I want to say the last time we spoke was 2 days ago and I was on page like 88 or something, and now I am on page 328. I am just flying through this. I completely understand why this book and this series was so hyped up. This is so good so far. It kind of gives me the same vibes as the Natural series. Obviously, they're two very different, you know, books, but just having that group of teenagers, young adults, who all have like special interests and are like super smart. I am really liking it. I do have some specific notes written down that I want to make sure I talk about, and one of them is that I love the academy setting in this. I feel like when I was younger, I always wanted to go to an academy. Specifically, Zoe 101 made me that way. Also, House of Anubis. I don't know if anyone watched that. That's like so niche, but loved those two shows, and just, you know, the idea of these kids being on their own, no parents around. Obviously that is entertaining and whatnot. Also, oh my gosh, the anxiety representation in this book, sometimes it was almost too real where I kind of had to skim some stuff, but I'm pretty sure this book came out in like 2018 or something, and I know that's not like a super long time ago, but I do feel like not a ton of books we're talking about mental health, so shout out Maureen Johnson. Stop, this is her author picture. Why is she so cute? I love her. Anyways, the mystery is mysterying in this book, and I really just want to get back and finish it, so I'm going to do that. And honestly, I think I'm gonna have to continue the series like straight away. Wait, I also should have noted this background looks so weird because I took away one of the prints. I am in the midst of like redoing this, so that looks weird. Apologies. time to wrap up this video. I am going to do a recap of the books I read, starting backwards. So starting with the Truly Devious series. I am just pleasantly surprised. I had no idea I was going to like this series as much as I do. It's kind of, you know, those books that sit on your physical TBR and you're like, oh, I'll get to that one day. And then when you finally do and you're like, oh my God, I've been putting this off for so long, and for what? Because I love it. So the other night, y'all saw me finish Truly Devious, the first book in this series. And I'm going to give it a 4.25 stars. It could have been higher, except I was pissed at that ending, that to be continued, y'all saw. So that very night, I started The Vanishing Stair, and I am 46 pages into this, so not very far, but I'm sure I'll fly through this too, just not in today's video. I'm rating this a 4.25 because it just really kept me engaged. I loved the dual timelines. It's funny because I don't love back and forth timelines in romance books, but like in a mystery setting, it gave you just enough crumbs of information to want to go back to the opposite timeline. These characters are so unique and so individualized, and I love it. I have been thinking about them for the past few days. I'm so excited to dive into this book. I feel like this could be a 5 stars, which is crazy. Okay, enough about that. If you want to see me continue the series, you know, stay tuned for my next video. Ooh, and I do have no update for the rom-commers because, like I told y'all, I'm just not interested. But I did talk to my mom who has read this, and she's quite picky, and she gave it 4 stars, which I was very surprised by. But when I voiced my concerns for what I thought was annoying, she straight up said like, yeah, that is annoying, but it gets better. So I guess I'll push through, but not today. And then I feel like I have blabbed enough about this book. I am still very surprised about this. I am still thinking about these characters, like to the point of looking up fan art, which is a good sign, but I am going to stick with my rating of 3.5 stars. Also, I should have mentioned this in the beginning, but there are some tougher scenes to read in this, so check trigger warnings if you need to. All right, and that is a wrap. Thank y'all so much for watching all the way till this point. I hope to see y'all in my next video. Bye, guys.